Hello, bonjour, bienvenidos, benvenuti. Welcome to the Music Polyglot channel. Today we are going to have a look at The Day That I Met You by Matilda Mann. Now, this song, this video, was a request from one of my lovely Patreons. If you'd like to make a request, you can join the Patreon page as well via the link that I leave in the description below. Now, this song, and I checked with the person who requested it, I couldn't really find a studio version for it, right? So we think that this is unreleased material. And so big disclaimer, this might change, right? We don't know what the actual studio track might sound like. This is based off the only live performance that we have of this song. So in the future, if a studio version of this song gets released, it might be different. Just bear that in mind, at which point I'll probably do an update anyway. So let's have a look at that in a close-up, shall we? So let's talk about the picking pattern first. We have a capo on fret 5. What that means is that we're going to be counting everything from the capo as if the capo was kind of fret 0. So fret 1 would be here, fret 2 would be there, and we'll be referring to the chords by their shapes. So for example, we're going to be working on an A minor 7 shape, right? So we're going to be referring to that, obviously. So A minor 7, you have the tab, so you can probably figure it out. It's just like an A minor without the ring finger. So the ring finger comes off and you only have the index and the middle fingers down. So essentially you have an open G string. So let's talk about the picking, i.e. we're talking about our picking hand. For most of you, that'll be your right hand. So this is a rather curious picking pattern because you have a pesky string skip in the middle. What do I mean by that? So we are on that A minor 7, and as with most picking patterns, your thumb will be playing the bass note. Nothing weird there. Now your index will be playing the D string or the 4th string, right? So it's just the one down from the thumb. And your middle and ring fingers will be playing the 2nd and 1st strings. So what's happening here is that you're actually leaving the 3rd string alone. We're not playing it. And although it's quite unusual, if you look closely at the way Matilda's playing this is actually very consistent. It's not something that just happens on one chord or whatnot. You know, this is actually how the pattern goes. So we have thumb, index, and then the other 2 fingers together, and then the index again. Right, so that's the pattern. And in terms of the rhythm, this is just a quaver or 8th note based pattern. It's all regular, meaning that every note is just as long as every other. And you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and always with that same pattern of thumb, index, middle ring together, back to the index. Thumb, index, both, index. Thumb, index, both, index. Great. Now the good thing is that that's going to be the only pattern throughout the song, apart from a couple of exceptions here and there. Remember that you have all the sheet music and tabs that you can download and print on the Patreon page, to which I'll leave a link in the description below. So let's have a look at the first set of chords. This is 4 bars. It's a 4-bar pattern. Let me play it for you so that you can see how this is done. So slow. So let's go through the chords. We start off with that A minor 7. Then we play a G sus4. And then we come down to a D9 with the bass note on the F sharp, and we stay here for the whole bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we just take the middle finger up a fret and we add the ring finger to make up a G. Right? We don't need the index in this case because we're not playing the A string. And we go G for 2 beats, 1 and 2, and then G over F sharp, 3 and 4, and then E minor. Okay, so there at the very end, so that last bar, right? So let's have a look at that last bar of E minor. So we have that E minor, for which we'll leave the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high string, and we play the pattern that we know for the first 3 beats, so 1 and 2 and 3 and on 4 we actually play this turnaround on the bass string, i.e. the 6th string. We go right, so that's 2nd and 3rd frets. And that brings you back to the A minor 7. So that again, the G. Here we go, check it out. 1 and 2. That's it. And the second time, this turnaround follows the melody rhythmically. So it goes. Right, so it's just the rhythm that's slightly different. So that last bar, from the point where she starts singing, it will follow the melody. So if you're singing, you can just rely on that following your singing. But if you want to count it, then that would go 1 from the E minor, so just the last bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right, so that G will be a little bit longer as you move back to the A minor. So one last time without my counting out loud. So 3, but I need to count myself in. 3 and 4. There you go. And then we move on to the chorus bit. In the chorus, the good news is that the picking pattern is the same. And the chords are very, very similar. We start off with an A minor 7 again, which we hold for the whole bar. Let me play the whole thing for you so that you can have an idea as to how it goes. So 3 and 4. Okay, so we have that A minor for a whole bar, 3 and to D major, 1 and 2 and 3, and then we have that G over F sharp, and E minor. Again we have the turnaround, A minor, and the second time around we actually hold the D. I.e. we strum it with the thumb, 3 we hold for the whole bar, and then we move on G over F sharp, E minor. That's it. So that's that chorus. On the second time around the chorus, before you go on to the bridge, you'll have an extra E minor. Right? Remember that the picking pattern is the same, i.e. where we are skipping that 3rd string. Now, quick note here, on the D, obviously you can't skip anything because you're only picking 4 strings, right? So there's no skipping, you are on adjacent strings all the time. So it takes a little bit of getting used to reverting, from the skipping to not skipping, especially because you have bass notes on different strings all the time. So be careful with that in practice, especially that change from A minor, where you have the bass note on the A string, to D, where you have the bass note obviously in the D string, and the G sequence, where you have the bass note on the low sixth. The thumb moves around quite a lot, but the other two fingers not so much at all. Let's have a look at what happens in the bridge. So how are you doing so far? Remember that you can have a free one-on-one lesson on this song if you contact me through my website, to which I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can DM me on Instagram. So again, in the bridge, we have the same picking pattern. The chord sequence is slightly different. So we have this, check it out. Okay, so the only thing that's different here, well, we have the A minor 7 to begin with, so that's the same, then the D. On the G, we actually hold the G for the whole bar, and then we go on to an E7, which is there on the screen, but you probably remember that it's just like an E major shape, and for which you take off the ring finger, just like you did for the A minor 7. Cool, you play that a couple of times. On the third time or so, you hold the D like that instead of picking it. Again, you're following the vocals here. The tempo is very loose. You'll play that a couple of times. And just before the end, we have a little kind of turnaround, an ending really, right? That goes on the last time. A minor, we are going to hold the D, 2, 3, 4, we have that G for the whole bar, 3, but here it's different, check it out, A minor 7, D, back to G, and one more time, A minor 7, strumming once, D, and back to your tonic G. Right. So that sequence, that very last sequence, for the last 2 times before the end, it's the same as in the rest of the bridge. It's the same as on the rest of the bridge. So A minor 7 to D, but we hold the D. Then it's again the G for the whole bar. And instead of going to the E7, we go to an A minor 7 again. We play it for half a bar, 1 and 2 and onto D, 3 and 4 and back to G, whole bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and lastly we go back to the A minor 7, but we strum it with the thumb, 1, 2, D major, 3, 4, 1. Cool. Hey, so how's that? Listen, if the video helped you, please give a like and subscribe to the channel so you get notified when more videos come up. Thank you for staying till the end, and I'll see you next time. Hasta la próxima, arrivederci, au revoir.